The SAGE state funding shortfall is expected to continue. For fiscal 11, the shortfall is projected to be about $15.9 million, which the district can't afford to fully cover. SAGE support is budgeted at $2,079 per pupil. The state did not keep its public commitment to fund the program at $2,250 per pupil that was made in fiscal 09.
Okay. I just want to make a comment about the SAGE program. As we deliberated on the amount of money and the decisions for the district to supplement the SAGE program, because essentially the state pays so much, and what the state doesn't pay, then the district has a responsibility to supplement it. We have a principal advisory group. 3 years ago actually, the principal advisory group really advised us on not putting any more district funds in supporting the SAGE initiative because they could see that this was continuing to spiral and it would have an impact on the overall MPS budget. That was a tough decision as we looked at, and we're still working on those decisions, but as we looked at it, SAGE is intended for schools. It's a poverty factor. The way the money is distributed and how that works, it's the poorer the school is, the more money and more allocation they receive. It was dedicated and set up as a way of offsetting the poverty and the negative impact on poverty. So we made a decision as we're developing our budget projections and allocating the resources out to schools to set 70% as a threshold. So we supported all the schools in the district that had the SAGE initiative that had a free and reduced lunch mark at 70%. Those schools below 70%, we questioned the sustainability of the model long term because the increased cost and the decreased revenue from the state, whether long term we could support the revenue. Also, the other decision that goes into this is whether or not those schools could increase their enrollment, which would have an impact on our tax levy and would have an impact on the overall enrollment and long-term stability of these particular schools. So there were 9 schools then that were not funding for SAGE right now. And obviously, as I'll address a little later, we're looking at every one of those schools individually. So the question is, where do we get the money to fund the schools? We took the money from the high school supplement. We had provided the high school supplement, and we needed about $2.6 million to support those schools. I figured from an educational point of view that class size reduction at the earlier level, there's some research that supports early class size in kindergarten and first grade. There's little to no research on class size at the high school level. I know there'll be complaints about that, but that's just a reality of the research. The other thing is that when you look at an investment of about $3 million at the early childhood level with SAGE, with the supplement, buys you about 3 times the number of teachers that investment would do at the high school level because you get no reimbursement from the state for the SAGE initiative at the high school level. So that was a decision that we made. Obviously, we're still looking at the decision and we're still looking at all of the cost as we allocate everything. And we'll see what decision we finally come to when we give you the budget at the end of April. Okay, Deb.